Maximus Analysis here for April 2nd morning at 10 a.m. and wanted to do a video. I was on the road yesterday for about, I drove probably 6-7 hours, so I couldn't make the video yesterday, but figured I'd get started today. So we start with the ES, and looking at this week, again, was a very interesting week, and we see the support is holding that we talked about. Again, we said the 203 area was critical. Again, we're bucking up. We actually got over this chop. So this chop area from probably Q3 of last year was between 2105 and 203. Okay, we got above that pretty much at a midpoint of 2048. Now we need to continue to see this hold, and we are in the middle of this, but again, bulls are in control, and as long as they don't break this 203 area, that they look pretty good in regards to now just using, again, the same type of time frames and going from there. When this rally started, again, cautionary tale was to go into aggressive time frames that we stated, and to mirror pretty much this run up of very tidy 1 2 1 2 1 2 type of pullbacks. It's pretty much been doing the same thing, 1 2 1 2 3 1 2, and is continuing up. Again, even gave a sell signal yesterday and ripped right back up at 2036.75, which I posted Friday. You could check my Twitter. That would have been a great long area with a very, very, 1 or 2 point stop. Again, I post those levels on Twitter, and they help. They're helpful. Again, they're not areas to trade, but if you know how to trade and you see that it's coming down, let's say to an area, and it's giving you an overbought or oversold condition, it might be something to look at if it matches up. Again, it's my way of trying to help fellow traders again find support and resistance levels. It's not to help you to trade. I'm not selling a subscription. I'm not doing anything like that, but it's a good thing to watch. Looking at the weekly for the ES, we can see that again they have the lower high, but this is a strong candle. The volume is okay. Again, the selling volume wasn't that, it didn't even break a previous low. So the previous low for we need to hold is 2012. We're just looking at the lows of the weekly, but again, the 203 214 area, if it breaks down back below that. But again, we want to see how much juice they got left. I thought they would be tired, and they could be tired, but now we're stepping right into the midpoint of this. Now, if they break above that, then we'll definitely talk about what targets they can have to the upside. Again, breaking 2105 would be breaking these previous highs here. So let's go and look at the NQ on the daily. We can see they broke above this previous support level that was resistance for long, and they broke above it. And again, we want to see them hold this 43.65 area on any type of retrace. Now, again, going back to Q3 of last year, they ping-pong between 47.27 and 44.55, and the middle level of that is about 45.90. So right at this area, we're really going to see what's going on, if they're going to continue to just blast through it, or if they're going to start chopping around. Now, them getting to that area, breaking back and holding this would be, again, and depending how, in what fashion, again, it's not just breaking, but how a retracement looks. A retracement like this looks completely different than a retracement like this. This is 5 bars. This is 5 bars. So, but you have to treat both differently. So again, it's not just robotic type of thing. There is still some, you have to continue and look how these things play out. So let's look at the NQ on the weekly time frame. And again, it's still holding. Again, they're coming back into this range. The volume was decreasing and increased a little bit into this. Again, it's not an exhaustion type of volume that you see a very high one like, well, that came in a pullback, so that's different. See if I could find one. Basically, you don't want at the end you see a huge volume spike, because that means more exhaustion or capitulation, maybe on a smaller time frame. So we'll continue to watch this. Again, the bulls are still in control, and we want them to break above this, because this would be something similar to a head and shoulder patterns. If they break back below this line that I have here, which is around a 43.40 level. So continue to watch. Use the aggressive time frames on the longs because it's just been that type of market. Let's look at the YM, and we could go quickly through this. Again, it's getting they're not breaking the support, which is 17,250, 17,000. Okay. They're now getting, this midpoint right here was around 17,900. And, they pretty much ping-ponged between 17,900 and 17,050. So they're actually breaking above this previous midpoint and holding so far. So we'll continue to watch that. CL, we see they continue to the downside. And again, they need to make some type of higher low above this previous pivot here, which is that around that 37.50 area that we've been talking about. Now they're below it, but they need to do something quickly, because if you look at the weekly time frame, this is a pretty standard type of pullback to previous resistance, and they need to hold or get back above this this 37.50 area, or they go for the lows. Okay, the only weekly break of a low is actually, they broke 2 weeks back, which was here, and we want to see them make some type of higher low in this region right here, and we'll continue to watch it. But they need to break back above to not roll over to take out these previous lows. So continue to watch that. And oil has been, on not a down tier, but again, it's still, there's opportunities to play both sides, but right now it's still looking bearish for the time being. So they're testing these previous highs. Want to see if they're going to crush it, or at least give a pivot back into this area, which would be around 35. Let's look at some taking a little bit more time because of the weekend. Let's look at Apple on the daily, and Apple continues to hold this level, and we wanted to hold on any pullback this 105.60 area. Now looking on the weekly time frame, we could see that we're still not above these previous. We're right there, actually. We're right at these previous lows that cracked. So again, them making a pivot down here means 3 lower highs, and then they would come back and test this 200-day moving average. So make sure that you're looking at both time frames very well. Now Amazon, Amazon, again, we want to see if they're going to break above this level with some type of volume. Now the level they need to break above would be, I think it's 606.90. Okay, and then if they break above that with some type of volume, they go to 613 and to 638. Okay, but and just watch the April 25th date to see if anything happens around that date as well. But we want to see some continued volume, because they're holding above these highs here, and we want to see if they're going to continue to the upside for this being a little small flag, because it gapped down and it came all the way back up. So I want to see if they're going to have some follow through. And let's look at the weekly to make sure we're not missing anything. And no, but I would have liked more volume on this follow through candle from this, basically this tight flag and this engulfing bar. But you kind of take what you get. Again, look for some type of resistance at these previous highs of these previous lows of 625, 626. Looking at the daily for Google, and again, Google is still holding above, very sloppy pattern, but it is what it is, grinding higher, and as long as they hold this 756 we've been talking about for years, not for years, it seems like years because of how slow it's been. It's been about 8 weeks just grinding and not getting above this earnings gap up. But if it clears that, we could see 798 and 812. Okay, and also look for the April 19th date to see if that is something happens where they make a high or a low around that time. Weekly time frame, we've been looking at this, and you could see how it's been a slow grind up. So again, volume picked up last week, looked really anemic, but they need to hold above these previous this week's low. They need to hold above that, because they actually tapped and broke below last week's low and then regained strength, But if they break below this week's low, they're actually breaking 2 weeks back and close to 3 weeks back actually. So continue to watch that, use an aggressive time frame to make sure that, you know, because this is not a really nice pattern. It's unless you're looking at the weekly. But last but not least, we have Tesla continuing up. A lot of volume here. Model 3 announcement came overnight. We want them to hold this 230 area, basically around this 200-day moving average, and of course the 215 area. Now we will look at the weekly time frame just to say it's kind of an indecision bar, so we want to see which side of the house they're going to break. So we want this week's low of 225 to hold, and of course last week's low of 215 to hold, because we don't want a lower high in them, because if they break back below here, they get back into this downtrend line. So we don't want them to get back in here. We're already from this 200-day, we're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 6 or 7 weeks up. So again, a pullback is expected, and we'll continue to watch this on the weekly time frame. So again, putting out this video a little bit longer, but just wanted to get the material done properly, and we'll see what happens. It's been a very interesting time regarding the market. So let's see if they still got any juice left. Take care.